Good afternoon, Cowboys and Cowgirls. I'm Dylan Pierce, and this is YOYR, your source for all things UW. We've got news from the ASUW elections, Earth Day, Charlie Kirk, along with your weekly weather and sports. Starting us off, here's Daphne Levine.
Thanks, Dylan. Holding homemade signs and shouting rally cries calling for the unequivocal respect of public lands, University of Wyoming students and others made their stance on environmentalism known in a protest march through town last Tuesday. Organized by the Sustainability Coalition, the Sierra Club, and Mecca, the Earth Day protests aim to celebrate the Earth and bring attention to environmental issues facing public lands in Laramie and the wider United States. Students who helped put on the event and participated in the rally spoke on the importance of Earth Day and the role that UW can play in making Laramie and the wider Wyoming a greener place. The climate and environmental protests aim to bring awareness and attention to actions that can be taken by administrators and lawmakers to help this important issue and spark change. Back to you, Dylan.
Thanks, Daphne. The environment has been a long-time center of discussion in Wyoming amidst conversations about our fossil fuels and the impacts we have on our environment across the state.
Thank you, Dylan. The UW community observed a steep divide as conservative activist Charlie Kirk's visit drew near. Crowds gathered Thursday afternoon, hours before his set arrival, anxiously awaiting their opportunity to snag a seat in the Arts and Sciences Auditorium. Despite groups of protesters and the division on campus from the event, students ultimately found common ground. Students protesting and those who attended the event spoke on the importance of love of country, the progress we ought to take as a society, and the way we choose to interact with those we disagree with. The herd-like nature of political beliefs is something many students agreed upon, encouraging independence of thought and finding your own stances in college. Charlie Kirk as an event was just another speaker coming to UW campus, but offered a high-profile opportunity for students of all beliefs and all walks of life to interact and protest in their own ways. Back to you, Dylan.
Transition from Kirk to ASUW with the election results.
In a brief yet crucial inaugural meeting, the ASUW student body president and vice president, as well as its Senate candidates, were revealed. Elected in the presidential position was Paula Medina. Elected in the vice president position was Ada McGuire. All Senate candidates who ran were also elected. There will be further appointments and applications for the Senate, as for the first time in years, the Senate has not been completely filled, still having open spots in its roster. The election has a rough turnout of 1,300 students, a higher than expected figure considering the general apathy expressed towards the entirety of ASUW from campus. With roughly a third of the initial vote, Medina and McGuire ultimately beat out second place ticket Hargett and Gamelski in the rank choice system exhaustive votes, during which the Kelsing and Lake ticket was also booted out, and second place ranking votes decided the election, with Medina and McGuire achieving the 50% they needed to win. Stay tuned as they move into their positions for further news on this new administration.
We hope to see some real change from the newly elected as they take on their new roles and move into the summer preparation months.
Thanks, Dylan. The Wyoming Cowboy football team has just wrapped up their spring practice, and there is a lot to take away from their spring game, including highlight plays, players, and position groups. Head coach Jay Sovell stressed all offseason and throughout the spring that he needed his team to play with more physicality. After wrapping up their spring practice, it seems as if his hopes for a more physical football team have been accomplished. Still, if this team wants to avoid the disaster that was a 3-9 finish a season ago, they're going to have to stay hungry and never satisfied. It was easy to see that complacency was the largest culprit of the disappointment a season ago, and the leaders of this year's squad are keen on not letting it play this team this year. This year's Cowboy football team is highlighted by its abundance of youth, and for much of their spring game, it was their youth that were making highlight-worthy plays on both sides of the ball. While the spring game can only tell you so much, it's clear that the Cowboys have the right mindset heading into the 2025 season, and hopefully the results will come along with it.
Thanks, Richard. Looks like UW football has a strong season over the horizon. We look forward to covering their development as we move into the fall. Daphne with the weather.
Welcome back to YOYR Weather. Now that we're done with April's showers, it's time to welcome May's flowers. Next week on Monday, we will start with just a bit of the rain trickling over into this month and a low of 34 and a high of 56 degrees. Tuesday, it seems Wyoming will need to remind us where we are and give us a bit of snow, bringing the temperatures down to a low of 34 and a high of 42. Wednesday, it looks to ease off the nice weather and come back up, ranging from 33 and 50 degrees. The day after that, on Thursday, we'll be heading for warmer weathers, coming back to the 60s with a high of 62 and a low of 36. So coming out of those freezing temperatures. Friday will continue off this streak, being relatively sunny at 64 degrees and 37 for our low temp. On this weekend, on Saturday, we may get hit with a bit of thunderstorms, but still stay in that temp range from 38 to 64 degrees. Ending us off on Sunday, we will still have a few clouds and range our temperature from 40 to 63. Thank you for tuning in. Now back to you, Dylan.
Thank you, Daphne, and thank you all of you for watching. Tune in next week for more news, sports, and weather. Have a great week and go Pokes.